Hello, little friends. Tonight we have a very special bedtime story about planting seeds with care. Let's open the book together and enter the whispering pine forest on Arbor Day. Today, we will learn how patience and gentle care help little seeds grow into beautiful trees. In the whispering pine forest, Wolfie was given a very important job on Arbor Day. Wolfie carried many little piney seeds carefully wrapped in an oak leaf. The forest was full of sunshine, and Wolfie wanted to finish the job quickly. Wolfie found a nice open spot and decided this was the perfect place. Wolfie gently placed the oak leaf full of piney seeds on the soft ground. Wolfie raised his paws and got ready to dig a hole for the seeds. Wolfie dug a big deep hole very quickly because he wanted to play soon. The hole was very deep and wide, ready for all the little seeds. Wolfie lifted the oak leaf high above the deep hole. All the little piney seeds poured gently into the deep hole together. The little piney seeds were all crowded together in one small space. Wolfie quickly covered the hole with soft brown soil. Wolfie patted the soil and felt very happy with the job. Wolfie stood tall and thought the planting was finished perfectly. Rye the bear and Bip the rabbit came walking gently through the forest. Rye and Bip saw what Wolfie had done and stopped to look closely. Rye noticed the seeds were planted too close together in one spot. Bip also felt a little worried about the crowded little seeds. Rye walked closer to the soil to help the little seeds grow better. Wolfie saw Rye and Bip and wondered what they were thinking. Rye smiled gently at Wolfie and stepped closer to the freshly covered soil. Rye spoke softly and told Wolfie that the seeds needed more space to grow. Rye explained that the little piney seeds were too crowded inside one hole. Wolfie looked down at the soil and began to understand what Rye meant. Wolfie felt a little sorry for planting the seeds too quickly and too close. Rye reassured Wolfie that it was okay and they could fix it together. Bip nodded happily and showed she wanted to help fix the planting too. Rye began to carefully dig up the soil to give the seeds more room. Rye moved the soft soil aside very gently so the seeds could breathe. The first little piney seed appeared from under the soil looking a bit crowded. Rye carefully lifted the little piney seed out of the crowded hole. Bip hopped to a new spot to dig a perfect hole with enough space. Bip dug a nice, shallow hole with plenty of room for one little seed. Wolfie sat quietly and watched everything Rye and Bip were doing. Rye placed the little piney seed safely on a clean oak leaf for now. Bip finished the new hole and happily showed it was ready for the seed. Rye walked slowly to Bip's new hole, carrying the little piney seed. Rye gently placed the little piney seed right in the center of the new hole. Bip carefully covered the seed with soft soil and patted it gently. Wolfie started to smile as he saw how carefully Rye and Bip were working. Rye and Bip worked together gently to plant each little piney seed with care. Bip dug another nice shallow hole with plenty of space for one seed. Rye gently placed the next little piney seed in the center of the new hole. Bip carefully covered the seed and patted the soil very softly. Wolfie walked closer to watch Rye and Bip plant the seeds with great care. Wolfie asked if he could help plant the next little piney seed. Rye smiled warmly and nodded yes, so Wolfie could try planting too. Wolfie carefully measured the right space between the holes. Wolfie dug his very first gentle hole with plenty of room for a seed. Rye gently handed Wolfie one little piney seed to plant himself. Wolfie gently placed the little piney seed right in the center of his hole. Wolfie carefully covered the seed with soft soil just like Rye showed him. Bip cheered softly for Wolfie and his perfectly planted seed. Rye praised Wolfie for planting the seed so gently and carefully. Wolfie felt very proud of his first carefully planted piney seed. Rye, Bip, and Wolfie worked together, planting many more seeds with gentle care. Soon there were neat straight rows of perfectly spaced little holes. Wolfie dug another perfect hole all by himself very carefully. Wolfie placed another little piney seed gently in its new home. The three friends stood together and admired their beautiful planted rows. Together they planted the very last little piney seeds with gentle and patient care. Wolfie dug the last hole very carefully, just like Rye and Bip taught him. Wolfie gently placed the very last little piney seed in its perfect spot. Bip softly covered the last hole and patted the soil with great care. Rye looked at all the neat rows and smiled with quiet satisfaction. The three friends stood side by side and admired their beautiful work. Wolfie noticed a small wooden whistle lying on the soft grass nearby. Wolfie gently picked up the wooden whistle with his mouth. Wolfie blew the wooden whistle with a happy and gentle sound. Bip hopped and danced happily to the gentle sound of the whistle. Rye swayed gently and smiled while listening to Wolfie's whistle. The whispering pine forest felt full of joy and gentle celebration. They looked at the beautiful straight rows of planted seeds with pride. Warm sunlight gently touched every little planted piney seed. Wolfie felt very happy after learning to plant with patience and care. Rye nodded proudly at Wolfie for doing such a wonderful job. Bip clapped her little paws softly to celebrate their success. The little piney seeds were now safe and ready to grow into tall trees. A soft breeze blew through the forest, bringing peace to everyone. They promised to come back and watch the little seeds grow tall. The rows of little holes looked neat and perfect in the soft sunlight. Warm sunlight gently kissed every little piney seed in its new home. Wolfie took a deep, happy breath and felt proud of their work. Rye gave a slow, gentle nod to show how proud he was of everyone. Bip twirled with joy and her long ears danced in the gentle breeze. The three friends stood close together, feeling happy and connected. They promised to return often and take gentle care of the little seeds. A soft breeze carried the gentle hope of tall trees growing soon. Wolfie looked up at the sky, dreaming of the tall forest to come. Rye gently placed his paw on Wolfie to show friendship and pride. Bip leaned in close with a big, happy smile for her friend Wolfie. The three friends shared a very gentle and cozy group hug. They took one last gentle look at the beautiful planted field. The little piney seeds began to glow with quiet life deep inside. Everything became very quiet and peaceful in the whispering forest. The three friends slowly turned to walk home with happy hearts. They took one final gentle look at the seeds before heading home. They walked slowly home through the beautiful whispering pine forest. The sun began to set softly as their day of planting ended. The friends felt tired, but very happy after their gentle day together. The three friends walked slowly home through the peaceful, whispering pine forest. Rye gently reminded everyone how patience and space help little seeds grow strong. Bip nodded happily and agreed that being careful makes everything better. Wolfie thanked his friends softly for teaching him to plant with care. The forest became quieter as the friends walked peacefully toward home. The first gentle colors of evening began to fill the whispering forest. The friends started to feel a little sleepy after their gentle day of planting. Rye gave a very soft yawn and smiled with tired but happy eyes. Bip rubbed her eyes gently and looked very ready for bedtime. Wolfie smiled sleepily and felt very peaceful after the day's work. They saw the warm, cozy lights of home glowing in the distance. They stopped for one last gentle look at the forest they helped today. Far away, the little piney seed slept safely under the soft, warm soil. The friends stepped gently into the cozy clearing near their warm home. They shared one last gentle smile before going inside to rest. Their wonderful day of planting ended in the softest and coziest way. Night began to fall softly as the friends settled down to sleep. The friends curled up gently in their cozy beds, ready for sweet dreams. The whole whispering forest and its friends fell peacefully asleep. And that is the end of our gentle story about the little piney seeds. And so our little friends learned that patience and gentle care help seeds grow strong. Good night, little ones. Sweet dreams in your cozy bed tonight. Sleep tight, and remember to be gentle and patient every single day. The end. Sweet dreams, little friends. See you in the next bedtime story.